let's just say it's still leaving a lot to desire. But to understand what is in the executive order, let's talk to the person who actually played a significant role in getting it done, Omarosa Manigault, who, of course, is a special assistant to the president. Omarosa, good morning.
Good morning, Roland. Good morning, all the listeners.
So first and foremost, what is actually in the executive order? What is different? What has changed?
Well, Roland, I'm so glad that you asked, because I've been hearing people report about what's in the order, and to my knowledge, the only people who have had a chance to actually see the final one, myself, the president, of course, the staff secretary. So let's go through what's in it as opposed to what is rumored to be in it and not in it. First and foremost, an executive order is a directive given by the president to federal employees, agencies, agency heads, department heads, and secretaries. So this is not a directive to Congress. We don't have that executive power to do that, but it tells the agencies what the president wants to get done and how he wants to do it. And so the first and most important point to make is that this president has done this within the first 40 days of his presidency, making action for historically black colleges and universities as priorities. The first thing we did, and you've heard a lot about this, so let's start there. We've moved the executive director from 3 tiers down, which is where Barack Obama had the director in the Department of Education, who had to report to 3 other people before the Secretary of Education ever heard what he had to say. So that executive director will be housed and sitting in the White House as a part of the senior team that advises what's happening with HBCUs. Why is that important? That's important because we don't have to go through 4 tiers of bureaucracy to find out what's happening with our students in historically black colleges and universities. That person has direct access to the senior team, senior advisors, and affecting the policies that will affect how we improve the conditions of historically black colleges and universities. That's huge. The second thing that we did, and I think probably the most important thing, is to require each agency, each single agency head, to allocate funds, support, and personnel to historically black college and university initiatives. Now, right now, I believe that the former administration had liaisons. They had other jobs to do. In addition to their other jobs to do, they had the title of HBCU liaisons. The individuals that we will have will strictly work on historically black college and university initiatives. The other thing that I'm most excited about is convening the annual summit, but having that White House summit here in the White House. That never happened during the last 8 years. That's going to happen for the first time in this White House.
I got a statement from the UNCF. They talked about what was included in it and what was not.
Well, they don't know. Wait, let me stop you before you even read that statement. UNCF does not have the document that's in front of me.
Okay, so let me ask you a question then.
It's speculative.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question.
I'll listen to your statement.
No. It's not a statement.
The final one.
No, it's just a question.
Okay.
It's just a question.
Sure.
They said that they wanted committing an aspirational goal for HBCUs to be awarded 5% of total federal grant, internship, and cooperative agreement funding, and 10% of total federal contract funding awarded to colleges and universities, which would nearly double federal support to HBCUs, and backing up the federal funding goals with concrete commitments for annual funding growth at each federal agency reflected in agency budgets. Is that in the executive order?
The executive order does not, as you know, that's not the role of the executive order, nor do we have the power to do that. That's in the budget, and you know how government works. We're still right now negotiating the budget, and the official budget will not even be presented for the next 30 days. So I think that's understanding how the process works. We direct what the president's priority is, and then the budget process that's going on right now will determine that funding. But of course, I requested more than 5% for increases in these programs. I think that having gone to 3 black colleges, I know for a fact that 5% is not enough. So I appreciate their submission of 5%, but I believe that we need a 7 to 9% increase in those programs.
Speaking of going,
and we'll be portioning for those increased fundings from my end.
Speaking of going to HBCU, Howard University is one of them. I'm joined right now by Greg Carr, Director of Afro-American Studies Program at Howard University. Dr. Carr, you have a question for Omarosa. Your thoughts about this executive order?
Well, yeah, Ms. Manigault, and we know that this is not...
Dr. Carr, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good to talk to you again.
Good to talk to you as well. Yes, we we know, of course, that this isn't unusual. Ever since Jimmy Carter, we've seen these executive orders. I have one very specific question as it relates to what Roland, you were asking relative to the UNCF suggestions, and that involves Pell Grants, particularly the UNCF's urging to simplify to restore, increase, and protect Pell Grants. And I know that President Walter Kimbrough of Dillard University said that.
Wait. Let me stop before you ask too many questions.
No. That's it. I was just saying the Pell Grant issue. Could you take that up?
Let's start with Pell Grants, because I was so saddened by the decision of the previous administration, not just to change Pell Grant lending, but to change the Parent Plus loan.
Obama to pump up Trump.
No. Let's be very clear. I have to give you the data so that you know. Don't cut me off because I need to finish my statement. I have to give you the data so that you know the changes that we made. Like you said, this is not a new initiative. But why would we need to do in the first 30 days?
No, not Obama. I'm asking you about what you all are going to do.
The changes for Pell Grants affected 128,000 students at HBCUs. The decision to change Parent Plus loans resulted in 128,000 students to have to drop out of HBCUs. Don't take my word. Google.
No.
Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Hold up one second. I know. But Omarosa, hold on. That 128,000 dropping out, that is not a number that I am familiar with. No. Omarosa, the number that I have received from the Thurgood Marshall Fund, from UNCF, and from others, the number has 28,000. Tom, you had a question, I believe. Go ahead, Tom.
But
I just said, why do you have to boost
Omarosa, historically black college and university?
Hold tight one second. Tom,
students, and it's unacceptable.
Tom, go ahead.
Why do you have to bash Obama to boost Trump?
Because what he did to black colleges is shameful. It's shameful that black students had to drop out of school because that previous administration didn't care enough to know that if you cut Pell Grants, if you cut Parent Plus loans, you would affect the attendance, the quality of education at black colleges. And nobody wants to
tell me what you're going to do about Pell Grants.
Tom, wait. No one wants to call out what the previous administration did.
Actually, hold up, Omarosa. Hold up. Omarosa, hold on one second.
There's 4 people yelling at me.
No, they're not yelling at you. Let me be clear, Omarosa. On this show, on TV One and the Joyner Morning Show, we were extremely critical. Tom wrote letters and met with the president directly. So you can't tell this audience that no one was critical when we were leading the voice of challenging the administration when it came to Pell Grants. Now, Tom asked the question. Tom asked the question.
Did somebody just ask me about Pell Grants?
No. Hold up. Tom asked the question: will this administration advocate in its budget to restore what UNCF and others are asking for Pell Grants?
Absolutely. You know how much unclaimed Pell Grant money went? Can I mention the last 8 years, or no, that's not allowed?
No, it's
because
go ahead.
Unclaimed Pell Grant lets you know how difficult the previous administration made for students to get the Pell Grant. So there's a ton of unclaimed Pell Grant money. So yes, not only are we going to restore the Pell Grant program so that it's not so difficult, the criteria aren't impossible for students to get the education that they need, Roland. It is, to me, baffling that people do not recognize the high numbers. When I looked at the numbers of Pell Grant fund that was left over from the previous administration because of those restrictions, absolutely we're going to lift that, and students will be able to fund their education at historically black colleges and universities.
When will we be able to look at the executive order that was signed yesterday?
So we are disseminating the executive order today so that people can speak on fact as opposed to what they're stating is in it when they've never seen it. And then it goes into effect in 30 days.
30 days from today?
Yeah, all executive orders go into effect after
from
30
today.
days.
Or from yesterday?
Yesterday is when we signed it, Sybil.
All right. Well, again, we'll know once 30 days. We'll be asking those questions, and certainly we'll be looking for the budget proposal the Trump administration submits to Congress.
We will definitely do better for black college students. Trust me.
Well, and
what's been experienced for the last 8 years.
And I'll say I'll say this, Omarosa. I'll say this. You can ask the Obama folks this here. We held their feet to the fire, and we will hold Trump's as well. That's a guarantee.
Please do. Thank you, Roland.
All right, Omarosa. Thanks a lot.
I hope she's well paid.
Tom, boy, I know you want to go through that radio on that one, boy.
All right, Tom. A peaceful protest
turned deadly. 37-year-old black man was shot and killed by Baton Rouge police. Your hands are in the air, and you still get shot by the cops.
Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead.
We're not going to let hate define us.
Race is a big part of this.
If truly all lives matter, then all lives need to matter equally.
What we require is action. What we require is accountability. We understand that black lives do matter, and we will keep focused on this issue.
NewsOne Now, every weekday morning at 7 on TV1.